Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Real Problems, Real Solutions. Today I'm reviewing a children's book, and I'll tell you why it is important. Before I show you the book, when we get into it, what's the objective of this? Well, people ask me, how can I talk to my child, my Muslim child, about masturbation, for example, about abuse, about pornography? How can I teach them that maybe at school or somewhere on the playground, sometimes even a friend or family member might touch them in an inappropriate way? And they need to be aware of that. They need to be aware of what to do and to feel comfortable to tell me as a parent that this has happened. I understand. This is a very sensitive topic. Before you start getting upset, also understand that in our experience, talking to all the different counselors and people that I've worked with, this is an issue that is increasing in the world at large. I don't want to just focus on the ummah, but it's increasing. It's not a joke. But it is a taboo issue, and not many parents know how to approach. So here is this book. It is called You're Very Brave by Ahmed Zahar, Rachel Hawkins, and it's illustrated by Hiruni Kariwasam. Kariyawasam. Sorry. I want to give everyone their due, and the designer is Ellen Glebova. First of all, it is about children. Now, if you have an issue with the drawings, please refer to the fatawas of the mashayikh with regards to drawing for educational purposes for children. The front is basically about a boy and a girl. So that's the cover. It's about bravery, but we don't know exactly what is it talking about yet. On the back, it says, a must-read book for children and caretakers. This story will help empower and protect children. For each hard copy sold, there will be one donated to an orphanage, refugee center, or foster home. So that's the back. All right, so let's get into it. I cannot read the whole thing. It is illustrated quite nicely, mashallah. It is published in 2021, and it is here in Malaysia. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless those who have sent me this book to review it, because I speak about these issues and people realize that these issues are important, so they're trying to offer you a solution for what's the approach that you can take in a nice way to bring these issues to your children, to teach them, to educate them. So, the book starts with introducing Sammy and Sarah. That day playing outside. They're saying that the father calls them in, saying they're going to stay with auntie and uncle during the holidays. They're so happy, delicious food. They go to the family, they're playing with their cousins. Beautiful illustrations. Okay? Beautiful illustrations. Normal. Everyone returns home, finally. Right, everything passed. They start talking about their experience, and they've had great time. But Sammy and Sarah look concerned. So mom and dad feel that there's something going on. So here parents have to get past the cultural taboos and the shame and ask their children, what's going on? So Sammy finally says, well, uncle tried to joke with us and touched our private parts. Here, I like the way the author put the two, the brother and sister. So now you got two, not only one. Do children sometimes make up things? Sometimes say things? Yes. And I understand this can cause shame. And that's why a lot of parents are apprehensive about talking about this or going to their family, specifically family members. and saying, did you touch my child? It's going to cause a huge problem. But now you got a brother and sister who are saying that this has happened. And of course, the reality is that most parents might dismiss it, culturally speaking. It's a shame. How can I go to my brother or my sister and say to them, hey, did you touch my child? They'll say, of course not. What's wrong with you? How dare you talk to me like that? I break all relationships with you. I don't want to talk to you ever in my life. So I'm not saying do that, but there's got to be some concern, and a person has to be careful. The cases that I deal with when it comes to abuse, specifically to sexual abuse, many of them have happened in childhood, and many of them have happened with people that the parents trusted. A caretaker, babysitters, people working in the household sometimes, drivers or servants or maids, and sometimes, yes, even uncles and aunties. Allah is my witness here. Allah is the witness over what I say, and I take responsibility for what I say. This is the truth. So I understand that it can be problematic. I'm not saying just that's it. Oh, I believe right now. I'm not saying that, okay, I believe everything now, as every time my child comes and says something, let me go and raise problems with everyone. But parents need to take things seriously, especially in today's society. So please understand, because it's a very sensitive point. Some might say, oh yeah, now everyone with the Westerners putting this forth, everything is abuse. I agree, everything now today. SubhanAllah, is when I was a teacher in the West, you can't even hug your children. You have to turn sideways and lift your hands up. They have to hug you from the side. Cannot even put your hands on them. That's how bad it got. So Dad was very displeased about what Uncle did. Oh no, I'm very sorry. That's horrible and should never happen. I'm really upset with Uncle. So here, obviously we see that the father believes the children. Mostly what I see from the cases that I deal with, the father or the mother might give a slap to the child and be like, you're never to talk about that with anyone. 15 or 20 years later, the child, now a grown-up, comes to us and says, I have sexuality issues. I've been abused by my uncle, by my aunt, and my father used to slap me and tell me to keep quiet and shut up because it's a shame for us. And now I'm messed up. Now I've done it to other children. It's a big mess, my brothers and sisters. So yes, I understand how sensitive it is. That's why I'm saying it 3, 4, 5 times. Because again, some of our viewers, right, and they're saying this, people are just trying to get attention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a witness over us, and we can get punished for saying these things. So please keep that in mind. So the parents say you're both very brave. Let's write down the details so Dad and I can report it to the police later. Is this the best approach to report it right away to the police? It depends. I believe parents have to be even more brave and go forward and challenge these people and to make sure that they themselves get their voices heard. Police, yes, can be, but you have to be careful before you launch a police report right away to investigate a bit further. So that's one criticism of the book. I would say have an extra step and make sure that the information matches. Children sometimes watch a cartoon or watch something, a show, or at school someone said something, and they might connect to that and they might interpret certain things. Might. A parent has the responsibility to believe the children, no doubt, if they complain about something, but also investigate, because this is the principle of Sharia. That if something comes, you have to make sure you check it. Even if it's from your children, even if it's from your family, it doesn't matter. We need to check. Cannot accuse someone of doing something without having proper proof. This is a principle of Sharia. Also, does that mean that we just dismiss our children and don't care and don't listen? No. right? So there's got to be a balance between the two. So parents start teaching now their children about safe touch. Shaking hands, patting on your head, shoulder, back, high five, fist bumps, hugs. They start talking about hugs. Can parents hug? Yes, parents can hug. And then they talk about the aura. They start showing the aura and where and what is permissible and what is not. And if someone does that, you say no and you run away. You tell a coach, you tell the teacher, you tell a parent. Same with the doctor. They talk about the doctor. What if the doctor does something that you don't feel good about? Right? So they say, be careful, danger, remember Allah. Be careful and say no and run away. Can doctors abuse children? Yes. Sorry to say on it. Can sometimes parents, can it happen? You'll be shocked. But may Allah protect, yani. Of course, parents in general want only the best of their children. However, some of the cases that I've had has been just shocking. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. So we need our community to learn. But there's got to be a balance, because sometimes people start exaggerating in these things. So Islam always teaches us about balance and evidence. But we need to teach. Then it talks about different things that these people can do, such as taking pictures, showing them things on the internet, which is, again, it's a good way of getting into pornography. Kissing hands, and what's allowed for parents and what's not allowed. And then again, of course, about, keeping quiet and all right, so when it comes to calling the police for the children, you got to be careful. First, you should speak to parents and teachers. First, you should speak to the adults, and they should be the ones to talk to the police. Because sometimes the kid can, and they will, call the police themselves, and police can take them seriously or too seriously and cause problems, or not take them seriously enough and just dismiss it. So again, it's always great to have an adult involved in this. So the book ends with the children being, they play with the family, they're rewarded for being brave and standing up. And then there's some place to draw. And there's also some numbers, police numbers, to be called at the end of different countries. So overall, I think the book is really good. It's a good way to talk about this, to open up the subject. What I usually advise is for parents to review this book. When I read a book to my kids, or my wife reads a book to the kids, even if she'll go through it and adjust certain things. You can yourself as a parent adjust certain things, but yet give the message. You have to understand, right? No one's infallible here. Things have to be adjusted, sometimes filtered, but you can give the lesson. These are resources, and it's a great resource for you to open up the discussion about this. Now, you as a parent know best for your child what is the correct approach, what you're teaching them, the ethics and morals, but make sure it's always in line with Islam, and it's always based on proof, and that you do not dismiss their complaints, that you investigate and you try to understand. And there's ways to investigate. I know that it might be very shocking and hard, and you might jump the horse sometimes and want to raise, problems, but be careful. You can investigate. You can come up to conclusive evidence once you're aware and you look differently at how those people investigate. Now, you're not suspecting necessarily. You got to be careful also with this, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that inna ba'da dhanni ithm, that suspicion sometimes can be sin. And in a culture where now everyone is suspected a lot, and there's a lot of issues with children's rights and abuse, and some people go on one extreme and everything is an abuse, and some people don't care enough and people get abused. There's a lot of abuse that is overlooked, and then there's also sometimes a lot of accusations and weird things that are happening with talking about these issues. And it's a problem on both sides. Parent has to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the end, above all law is Allah. Above all law, ALLLAW, law, is Allah, the Almighty. So keep that in mind. Make your due diligence. Listen to your children when they complain. Check, protect them. Do not allow them now. For example, if a child complains about their uncle, are you going to slap them and say, go back to your uncle and spend 5 nights there? Or I'm going to send you every week now as a punishment. How can you dare you say that about my brother? No. You're going to readjust and say, you know what? Now you're not going anymore. I'm going to keep an eye. I'm going to see. Maybe you're going to, yes, do it as a visit together as a family. But you're going to be careful. Is it possible? Yes. Is it true? Well, don't jump. Things have to be taken in consideration. And it's a great book, but you need to educate children. Children need to know about this thing. Pornography can be addressed to this. Masturbation. Not only about people touching in the wrong way, but you touching yourself the wrong way. And what you see, what you hear at school. Not only, the school is a place to report things because the school is the best thing. No, actually, sometimes the school is the worst place. And you can get the most problems from. So parents have to sometimes look at things in a comprehensive manner, but this is a great way to open up these discussions. Now, some might say you're opening the eyes to your children, you're opening their eyes to something that maybe they don't see. I don't agree. There has to be a balanced way. I'm not trying to make you help them to see things that are not there and start becoming very, reporting everything and every move and everything. Some people are like that. No, I'm telling you, educate them about a real problem. Talk to your children about abuse. Talk to your children about masturbation. Talk to your children about pornography. Talk to your children about protecting themselves. Talk to your children about being comfortable enough to come and talk to you and report you. Now, if your child every single day says that something happened and someone touched them, then you can kind of understand, wait a second, it's something not right. But if you know that it's like once in a while this has happened, or one time, or your child never said that, but then you can see their body language, they're not looking well. Children, when they're abused, they don't come like, hi, everything is so good, wow, yeah, oh, by the way, uncle touched me. No. Because of such a sensitive age, and they're so sensitive in their development, you will feel it. They have been hurt. They're going to act differently. You need to look for signs of abuse. You need to look for signs of what's been happening. If you catch them touching themselves, masturbating, weird behavior, those are indications. I'm not saying proofs. They're indications that this might happen. You got to be serious about these things. I am only emphasizing a little bit more on this side of awareness because what I see, having traveled so many Muslim countries and worked with different communities, that in many cases, because of the stigma and the shame of the culture, so many people would slap the child, push them into abuse again because of the shame. Especially in joint family systems, this can happen because families just trust each other. I'm not saying don't trust each other. I'm not criticizing joint family system. All I'm saying is be careful. A Muslim is aware. A Muslim is careful. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-dhulm dhulumat yawm al-qiyamah." This is oppression. And it will be darkness on the Day of Judgment. This is unacceptable for a child to be abused. There are shayateen amongst men, even those close to us sometimes. These things do happen. You have a responsibility to protect the children that Allah has blessed you with. Not just disbelieve them and just slap them and hit them and abuse them more and send them back sometimes to the perpetrator. Be careful. Be very careful. Again, I'm not saying on this side, everyone is, let's spread fahisha now and accusing everyone. No, be careful. But at the same time, don't dismiss things just like that. Follow principles of Islam. Even in investigating, you cannot just accuse. Even in investigating, you cannot just suspect, because these can become sins. But you do investigate. and you are careful and you protect your child and you investigate further and whatever you have to do to make sure that it's correct and it's in line with Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. I will put the link of this book, inshallah, in the description. Again, Jazakallah khair for those who have sent it to me, Brother Ahmed, Sister Rachel, may Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.